Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me are two people that are currently working out and fighting invisible monsters. It's John Levingood and Norbert Morvan.
Dude, with the strength of a roach and the training of a jerky, invisible Shaolin monk, I'm ready.
I've been guarding my gate for a long time, bitch. Yeah. Yeah. Best line in the entire movie.
Pain.
Good to meet you.
No gain.
That's right. Gonna put your hands on me.
Now,
Sorry.
That's like the theme song of the movie.
The beginning, I wrote it down. It's like, running from the nightmare. I can't even sing it, but the song caught me. I was just jamming. I was like, man.
I'm running from a nightmare. I can't come back. It's already there. Tuesday night, ladies and gentlemen.
I wish the audience could see what I just saw as his hands
Beautiful.
were working. Like, think Mark Wahlberg from Rockstar. Like, he's just feeling the music come out. Very, very Guns N' Roses. Like, you need the glam hair, the glam rock hair.
Hey, if you're Mark Wahlberg from Rockstar, can I be Timothy Olyphant from Rockstar?
You most certainly can.
I thought you already were, man, with the 8 to 12 pack that you always have, baby.
I love it. Now, hey, before we get into this film, A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, I just got to tell y'all two things. So, first, this franchise and the Friday the 13th franchises, that was very clumsy, they make me appreciate the Scream franchise more. Because Scream 1, Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4. This one's A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. I mean, Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Just spelling those out is a nightmare. Right. But yeah, Scream 2. I think I would just take that franchise. So that's it. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, it's because we all know, as avid videophiles, that the greatest sequel name ever is Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
So we needed to delineate these movies other than just 2, 3, 4, and 5, you know, because that's what Rambo did and stuff like Rambo 3. Oh, whatever, you know?
So you just needed to make these the Dream Master, not just Nose 4.
Exactly. Put some effort into it.
Wow.
How about Critters 2, The Second Course?
I mean, that's beautiful. I love that. Right? That. But it's cheeky. Like, happy Death Day to you. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I'm for it. But just not A Nightmare on Elm Street 46. Freddy goes to camp, and he also leaves the camp, but then he goes back to the camp. And then he's like, wait, why did I leave the camp? I lost my wallet. And he goes back to the camp. And then he goes back to space and then to the camp. Like, that's what I don't want.
I think like in Noe's 47, Freddy takes over an office building. It's years into the COVID pandemic, and it's still going on, and he has to use a talented, vivid dreamer to pull people into the office building because that's where he manifested.
Whoa. That sounds like Hellraiser.
Pretty much. Well, it all depends, you know. I mean, does that dream person that he manifests, are they able to properly handle IT problems, you know? Because Control-Alt-Delete doesn't always work.
Only in their dreams. That's their dream power.
Exactly. You know, is the cost of your soul worth always telling me just turn it on and turn it back on?
Did you try restarting it, bitch?
Exactly.
I want to see him work a printer. So Norbert and I had a printer in Korea that we had to always work on. Imagine Freddy with his glove trying to fix that thing.
He would just be manifesting more paper jams than he solved.
This
Freddy will be like, PC load lamp, bitch.
This printer's always breaking
down.
down.
What the hell does that mean?
Maybe it's you, Freddy. What, bitch? Oh, man.
Yeah, man.
And then there's
definite shout out.
Oh, no, go for it. Go
ahead. I was going to say, definite shout out to that Rick and Morty character, Scary Terry, who just basically encapsulates everything that's horrible about Freddy Krueger. Just the constant use of the word bitch. Oh, bitch. It's great.
Now, during a recent episode of Deep Blue Sea, the podcast, I came across a realization, and I just want to share it with y'all real quick. So, as we know, Renny Harlin, the director of Deep Blue Sea, directed this movie. He directed A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Masters. I started looking through his filmography, and also in this movie, there's a shark. Freddy's glove is a shark fin, so reddest, greenest, my glove is like a shark fin. So,
wow.
Right? But then I started looking through his movies. So you have Nose 4, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Waterbed, right? The waterbed scene, submerged in water. Long Kiss Goodnight, she gets submerged when she's being tortured. She shoots the hole in the ice, falls right through it, submerged in water. Cliffhanger. Stallone pops out of frozen water. 12 rounds. John Cena jumps from a helicopter into a pool. He's submerged. In Driven, a vehicle blows up, and then the guy's completely submerged in water. He drops into water.
In Cutthroat Island, presumably there are sharks all over the place. We just never see them.
And there's a ton
of water. There's an underwater kiss between Davis and Modine. Everyone's jumping in the water. In The Covenant, they're swimmers. In Skip Trace, people drown and they're rafting and they fall into the water. In The Legend of Hercules, he's a cliff diver. So, Adventures of Ford Fairlane, Andrew Dice Clay fights Robert Englund in a sinking boat. Robert Englund sinks under the water, pops up behind him, is like, ha-ha! So he's like a shark. And then you have, so the only movies where there isn't complete submergence is Exorcist, the beginning, but he went on for reshoots, so I don't count that. But the other two are Die Hard 2 and Devil's Past. But there's moments where they're completely engulfed in snow, which, if
there's frozen water.
So almost all of Renny Harlin's movies, including Nightmare on Elm Street 4, and I haven't seen his first film, so I can't talk on that. But all of those, people are submerged in water.
So at some point in Renny Harlin's development years, he had some horrific experience with a shark making out with a girl and or fire. Yeah. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah. So I just think it's funny that in almost every Renny Harlin movie, people are submerged in water. There's no point to it. It's a random thing that came across, and I had to research it. It's glorious.
The Moisture of Harlin, Part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
That sounds like an adult film with a very unsavory
Renny
title.
Moist Harlin presents Waterworld. More wet.
Renny Harlin's.
More water, more world. Wait, more water, less world.
Waterworld 2? Is that the pitch?
More
for
water,
Waterworld
less
2, the
world.
elevator pitch?
Oh, I like that.
Okay, so there's a world, right? But it's like underwater. Waterworld 2.
And now there's even more water, but you can't tell because there's no land to cover up.
Exactly.
Holy shit.
Remember the first one? It's 10 feet higher now. Whoa. So now, one more thing I want to put you two through. And I want you guys to rank the one-liners in this movie. I pulled the best ones.
Ooh.
So, we all know this is when... Okay, so Freddy had 1 and 2 and 3, and he had lines before, but this is like the MTV Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, Robert Englund in the making of documentary said he was exhausted, didn't want to do it. But he's like, oh, this is like MTV, and Renny has a ton of energy, and they hired him because he's a tall Finnish man, and they figured he could work long hours and not get paid much. And they said he smelled. Which is the truth. He went to office all the time. They eventually hired him because he looked big, and he could handle the hours. Dead serious. It's in the Never Sleep Again documentary.
That's a great
So this one,
yeah, I just saw that today, by the way. He looks like he would be the front man of one of the music videos for one of the songs in this great soundtrack, by the way. 3 and 4 really bring it on the soundtracks.
They do. And you notice it in Part 5 when they close the movie with a Kool Moe Dee song that was basically the answer to Mama Said Knock You Out. They just didn't care at all in Part 5. It was just a cash grab.
Yeah, I mean, we're covering that one on the we're doing that full series. We're doing 3, 4, and 5 here. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a tight trilogy.
It's fun, right? And I guess we'll talk about franchises later, but I like it. I like this arc. It's a fun arc in this. I did miss Patricia Arquette, though, in this movie. But, I mean, Tuesday's fine. What do y'all think?
The problem I have with Tuesday Night is that she just looks like a grown ass woman. There's no way that she's in high school, you know? If she is a high school student, it's because she's Jerry Blank from Strangers with Candy, you know, just a 46-year-old ex-prostitute. She's a boozer, a user, and a loser trying to start her life all over again from where she left it.
And dating a junior.
And dating a junior, yeah. She's just dark, man.
I was waiting for her to become a reporter, and then David Arquette shows up as her brother.
It would have made perfect sense. I just can't, you know, and you can tell that Tuesday Night, you know, she's not so much an actress as she is a singer who wants to kind of just spread her wings, you know, and just also, oh, by the way, I also been in a couple of movies. If you look at her IMDb, she's got this incredible discography of just hardcore / soft 80s rock. So she was a musician more than an actress, and you can tell. As she walks through this movie, I just can't. I want Freddy. He's coming back, guys. I'm telling you.
I missed the wounded kind of I missed Patricia Arquette. She had a very good wounded, tired vibe like in the third one. I dug her a lot.
Oh, cornered, injured
yeah,
wolf.
exactly. And I loved, I mean, whatever. But I mean, I know this movie becomes about Alice, and it's Alice's trip down the rabbit hole. Oh, brother.
It was another passing of the baton. Part 3 passed the baton from Nancy to Kristen. And then they just decided, okay, let's just murder Kristen now, and let's bring doe-eyed. Oh my God, I can't even remember her name. She's so
Alice. Yeah.
Alice is just so. I really like to talk to people, but I'm so shy. Keep in mind though, she's got a great arc in this movie because she does come full circle from mousy girl to I will kick your ass, Freddy. I'll do kung fu from my brother's soul.
And it all started when Tuesday night. Highlander Hadoukens her power into her.
It goes through Freddy, right? And into her?
Oh. Right. I don't even understand what happened there because it seemed to pause at Freddy. Like it stopped and hurt Freddy and then it kept going. But it didn't just shoot through him. It really like hit him and then shot from him to her. I never noticed how baffling that was until my most recent rewatch of this movie.
Pinballed around his insides for a little bit.
There are so many film concepts of very recent films to this that I see like the DNA of just kind of twisted in. I feel a bit of Mark, you might have almost mentioned something in our first few minutes. I feel a tiny bit of Hellraiser influence in this Freddy movie, and I don't think it's a coincidence. And of course, Renny's pretty brand new. I mean, he did Prison right before this, but still, he's relatively brand new to helming significant films. And then of course you have your Alice in Wonderland really kind of also echoing some Dorothy of Oz stuff where some magical person behind a curtain is creating, this world and controlling it. And she'll eventually get power from her friends, right? To help defeat him. And this is, by the way, no negative criticism at all. It's because it's wisped all over this thing. This is like a bouillabaisse movie, like no other Noe's movie.
I want that on the Blu-ray. Oh, we need John's Horror Corner.
That's brilliant.
That needs to happen.
And you're 100%.
Oh, when Shout Factory does it, that needs to be on the front box of it because.
Well, you know what? If Robert Englund wants to give me a call and ask me to do one of the commentaries, I'm all in. And if an intern calls me, I'm also all in, and I'll fly myself out there. That's fine too.
So
make it so.
What did y'all? When did y'all first watch? Well, we'll deal with the thing later. But when did y'all first watch this movie? Because when this came out, this was a success. I mean, this cleared $100 million like easily at the box office at the time, with inflation, and it was well reviewed. Audiences, I saw a behind the scenes thing of people leaving the theater, and they were jazzed. They loved this movie, like the kids. And I like in Never Sleep Again, Renny Harlin's like, yes, we need more of this. The teenagers will love it. When was the first time you watched this, and what was your first thoughts in regards to the rest of the franchise for either of y'all?
Well, in '88, I was 10, so I'm pretty sure that I caught this on WPIX Channel 11, so it was all heavily edited. But, Freddy was a massive deal, man, at the time in the 80s because by the time Part 2 came out, Will Smith came out with He's the DJ and I'm the Rapper with, DJ, him and Jazzy Jeff. So they made the song Nightmare on My Street. And Nightmare on My Street was, I would say, Will Smith's first foray into summarizing a movie into a rap. And it was a movie that he wasn't even in. Because he tells you exactly what happens. You've got the body, and I've got the brain. Boom, 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 bing, boom, boom. It was just really well produced. So by the time I see this, I'm like, okay, yeah. 3 was awesome. I had not seen 2 as a child. These movies were just totally marketed towards 10 and 13-year-olds like me, which is insane because there is nudity, murder, cursing, and the implication that he's doing filthy things to these little girls as he's murdering them. But not like in the remake where they just straight up say, yeah, so Freddy's a child molester. They just say it straight up.
I love that he's trying to kill the kids because they snitched on him, but they were right, not because they were wrong.
Yeah. The best thing to me about that remake is that you go on for maybe the first 35 minutes thinking, wait a minute, what if he didn't actually do this?